Edwin and Lily married in 1919, but he tragically died aged just 27.
We got a death record for Edwin in 1940. Said that he died at the Carshalton War Memorial Hospital. He was a commissionaire at a factory.
But the place where Edwin worked was no ordinary factory. The Bourgeois factory, owned by the French perfumier Chanel, opened in 1918 and was just one of the many international companies that wanted their base to be in South London.
When Croydon Aerodrome was blitzed in August 1940, the Bourgeois factory was razed to the ground. The factory then was rebuilt, and so by the end of the 1940s, production was restored once more.
Edwin may have gone, but he was certainly not forgotten, as he would have been the welcoming face to all who visited the factory, as he was the commissionaire.
I think it's very difficult to imagine the excitement that I'm sure most people would have felt meeting a commissionaire at the door of a perfumery company. This person would have been your first contact who would welcome you into a world which would have seemed so exotic and far removed from the everyday. Croydon maybe seems the most unlikely places in one way, maybe, for perfume production, but I think it's really, really important to remember. The name Croydon itself comes from the Anglo-Saxon Cro de Nu, which means Crocus Valley. It's where saffron was grown, like in Saffron Walden. By 1500, we have really, really well-established fields of lavender around Mitcham, Colston. So this area was very, very famous for lavender production. So I think that when the French houses looked at where they could make to save shipping perfume, England was an obvious place, and in England, Croydon most obvious of all.
During World War II, over 2,500 bombs fell on Croydon, with businesses, factories and streets being ripped apart, including the world-famous Bourgeois factory. 180 workers were injured and 60 killed outright, and Edwin was one of those workers. Back on the case, the team's research into Marjorie's siblings was leaping ahead, with a possible brother identified.
There was an Edwin Charles Martin. Edwin being the father's name, we thought there was a good chance that that was correct. Certificates come back, it looks like it is.
Searches on brother Edwin reveal he died in 1963. However, the team believes he married and had a son, Keith.
We've identified a possible nephew of deceased. We'd like to find his address first and foremost and hopefully send someone to see him. They might have already dealt with the estate, but we'll only know when we finally do get to speak to them.
And once they've spoken to their lead on the phone, things are looking positive, as it's definitely the correct family.